Man, I'd like to bash the head into the guy who made the spinner on that Tempest Arcade1UP machine. I don't like it. Oh, Drunken Paul's got a new episode up. Let me go take a look at that.
We reviewed the Arcade1UP cabinet, and I was super excited because the games on it I loved. It was like 4 for 4 for me. It was Asteroids, Major Havoc, Tempest, and Lunar Lander. And I remember all those games in the arcades, but especially I love Tempest and I love Major Havoc. And those two games both rely on a spinner. Well, in Major Havoc's case, it's a roller, but it's the same kind of thing. And so we reviewed the cabinets, and generally I like them. Overall, I think, you know, $300 for essentially you put an arcade cabinet in some hot water, it shrinks, and it's mini, and it's very cool, and I liked it. I thought the exterior graphics were nice. I know that it wasn't true vector, it was emulation, but I was okay with that for something along those lines. I really had only two major complaints with the system. One was that it didn't store your high score, and the other thing, but the big one, was the spinner was crap. It was absolute crap. It's not a spinner. It's not a spinner. You can't spin it and it goes. It's a clicky knob that it's almost like hitting a button faster. It doesn't work for the games. For Tempest, you need to be able to spin that back and forth very quickly to get the thing to go around and shoot. And for Major Havoc, the clicky knob, I'm going to call it clicky knob, not the spinner. The clicky knob works okay for the first levels, but there's points when you get to the more advanced levels where you must be able to spin very quickly to get the guy to zip across to get somewhere without being hit by the energy pulses or the robot shooting at you. It needs to be very quick, and you can't with the spinner. It doesn't work. You can't get it to go fast enough. You don't have as much control. So that was the problem with that. I think I was contacted by Glen Planamento. Great name, Glen Planamento. Glen has worked on a replacement for that spinner. I really recommend you check out his channel as well. It's Glen's Retro Show, and he has spiffy stuff, including...
Glen's got a new spinner. He better have me on a pre-order for that thing.
Today's episode of Glen's Retro Show is brought to you by DNA Dimension Designs, the best custom retro gaming decals in the game, period.
Glen's Retro Show is also brought to you by Arcade Graphics. Looking to spruce up your Arcade1UP home arcade machine with a fantastic look? Be sure to look at arcadegraphics.com today.
Hi everybody, thank you for joining me on today's edition of Glen's Retro Show. I'm very excited about today's episode. I've been working with a gentleman in the arcade industry for over 6 months to create a new, true arcade quality spinner for Tempest in the Arcade1UP Asteroids, 6-in-1 Asteroids Deluxe, and the 12-in-1 Asteroids Deluxe. And we had a pre-order for the unit a few weeks ago, and it sold out literally in 4 hours. But don't worry, link down below to the Amazon store where you'll be able to get this again. So don't worry, there'll be plenty available. But in today's episode, we're going to go over the production unit here, how to install it, and how it works. And we'll talk a little bit more about it. I do want to say that this will work in all 3 units, no problem. Now on the 12-in-1, there is also a trackball, this will not interface with the trackball yet. So if you have a 12-in-1, yes, you can use this right now. You can order it, put it in your machine, it will work. But you will have to disconnect your trackball for right now. We have a small daughter board that will be coming out, a USB interface board for the 12-in-1. And basically that'll let you plug this, the trackball, into your machine. And not only will it work with standard Arcade1UP hardware, but if you ever do switch it out to a Raspberry Pi or a PC, it will allow you to connect not only the spinner, but also the Arcade1UP trackball into a standard PC. So you won't be losing anything. But for right now, let's do a little unboxing of this little guy and see what we get and then how to install it. Okay, so this is what you'll receive. This is the standard TS USP01 arcade quality spinner. This will work in your Asteroids Deluxe, and your 12-in-1. The only caveat is in the 12-in-1, you will have to temporarily disconnect the trackball for this to work. We have a small daughter board that'll be available in a couple of weeks, which will let you put in the arcade quality spinner and the trackball and work at the same time, and also give you the ability, if you ever switch out your Arcade1UP unit with a Raspberry Pi or a PC or something else, it will give you a USB interface. So you can use the spinner and the Arcade1UP trackball in another device as long as it can accept a USB interface like a mouse of some kind. So this is the standard box. Let's open this little guy right up here. And the first thing you'll see here is the little user manual. Again, we're going to go through this step by step. It's very, very easy to do. It takes just a few minutes. But when you open up the documentation here, it's basically going to show you all the parts that are included in the package and basically step-by-step guide on how to install this. And again, if you have the plastic acrylic overlay, that's not a problem. It will work with that without damaging or scratching anything. And you can see here, there's a resolution adjustment table. On the bottom of the unit, there are some dip switches here. We can change sensitivity. Now, it's already set from the factory to work perfectly with Tempest, but you can adjust it more to your liking. And if you have modified, say, your 12-in-1 unit with the USB interface, and you have access to the breakout game, you probably want to set this to the 64 setting. That's what I found to work best with that game. The stock setting is a little bit too slow, and the highest setting is way too much. So the 64 resolution adjustment setting is probably the best. So that's really good. We have this here. And now inside the package, we have 3 compartments. You can see right here. Our first compartments are wires and screws, and a small little disc. We'll get into all this in a few minutes as we go through the install. This small little disc just gives you a little bit more height if you have the acrylic overlay. If you don't have the acrylic overlay, you don't need this little guy right here. But if you do, we're going to put that on. We do include some additional screws, but again, you can use the screws that comes with your Arcade1UP. We can use all the same. And just a small interface cable here that's going to go from the spinner to the Arcade1UP board. Now here is the actual machine itself. You can see it's, we hope you can see, it's made out of a nice high-grade aluminum and steel. There's ball bearings in here. It's very, very smooth. Now this uses a magnetic field to determine the rotation, so it's not optical. Magnetic is actually a little bit more precise. Not that the opticals really have that big of a problem nowadays, but magnetic is definitely the newer technology. It's a high-grade technology, and that's how this one's going to work here. Now you can see there's multiple holes here. There are 2 preset for where the Arcade1UP already has its screws in here, and you're welcome to put in more if you like. I only use the 2. That seems to be more than sufficient. And we can see under here are 2 boards, or 2 actually are interfaces for the machine. We're going to use 1 right now. And right down here, these are the little dip switches. This is what you can do to adjust the different sensitivity settings. Now on this first release, it is attached to the board. We may make this available externally, but it's not too hard to solder some wires on there. Well, it's not too hard for me. It might be for some people. I shouldn't say that. But if you do have soldering capabilities, you can definitely solder onto this and run a cable out further. But most people just want to play Tempest. It probably won't even be making any adjustments to it. And then on here, we have also our nice top. Now right now it is a nice nickel color, heavy weighted top. Now it only comes in this color right now. Different colors may come in the future. And it's just 1 screw that holds it in place. So that's what you're going to get. There's really not too much you need to really to unbox. The next step is let's get into one of these machines and actually put it in and try some gameplay. Okay, the first thing you need to do is, I've already done some of this already. You can see I actually already have my prototype spinner still in here. But this is what you would have. So I'm just going to show you right now what that's going to look like right there. But all we need to do is make sure your machine is turned off. Take out your 4 screws on your control board. And then you can take this board out. Now there's going to be your main interface cable under here. So you're going to disconnect your interface cable so you can take out your whole control board. So far it's just removing 4 screws and 1 interface cable. Now let's get into the bottom of this and actually get the spinner put in place. Because I placed it down on the rug, you might want to place it on the rug or a towel so you don't scratch the graphics on the other side. But basically what we need to do here is there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 screws to remove to take off this plastic cover. So let's get into that. Pull out. This will simply lift and pull away. Okay, so this is all we need to work in is this area right here. This is the spinner from Arcade1UP, and we're going to pull this cable out. So we're going to take out 1, 2 screws on both sides over here right now. Okay, once you pull out these 2 screws, put them aside, we're going to reuse them, okay? Then this simply will pull away, and this isn't needed anymore. Now right now, this is the cable right here, so let's disconnect that. Now you can simply cut this wire here and pull this out entirely, but for right now I'm just going to put it to the side, just to get it out of the way. And the spinner that they use, the clicky spinner, is screwed in as well. So we need to take out these 2 screws here, and this will come into 2 separate shells. Okay, so now we're going to put in our new machine. Let's put our box right here with our equipment. And we have our little bag of parts. Let's open up our bag right now. The only thing we really need out here at this point is just this 1 interface cable. I'm going to pull this thing out right here. Now you can see they come in 2 separate kind of sizes on them. There we go. So they're a little bit different. This one's going to go to the board here. This small one's going to go on your interface board. You can see there are 2 different sizes on it right here. Just find the one that fits. It obviously doesn't go on this one. It's going to go on this one. So look, there's like a couple little notches on here, and there's a notch here. Just push that in place, like so. That's it. Now, again, these are your little dip switches if you want to make any adjustments. It's already set from the factory, already to work fine with Tempest. So we're going to put it in its spot right here. And you can see there are holes here already. Just got to put this down and line up a set of holes you want to use. Make sure it's centered. And I'm going to reuse the original screws. Now again, if you want to, you can make more holes and use the screws that they supplied. But I found that just these 2 screws are more than adequate to hold it in place. And I try not to make more work for myself. Make sure it's pretty. I wouldn't make it too tight to get both screws in, just to make sure everything's lined up the way you want it to be. Just good idea for anyone. And put this one in over here. Now I will say that the Arcade1UP boards don't take kindly to too many screws and unscrews. But so far I've put quite a few into here, and it's been working out okay. So it still grabs and is pretty tight. So make sure the hand tight. Don't force it. Just tight enough. There we go. So you're 99% done. Now we simply have to connect our interface cable right here. And you can see it once again, there's little knots on one side and it's smooth on the other. So I'm just going to take this cable, straighten it out just a little bit, and slide it in. And that's it. This is exactly the same in the Asteroids and the 6-in-1 Asteroids Deluxe. Now on the 12-in-1, you'll have a trackball, and this is actually going into the trackball, then the trackball is going into here. So that's why we need that small interface board. That'll let this go into the interface board, the trackball will go into the interface board, the interface board will go into here, and also again have the ability to use this in a PC or Raspberry Pi or other device. Now at this point you can clip this one little zip tie and take this out completely, but for right now I'm going to leave it in here because it's not bothering me either way. And we're going to put this board now back in place, but first we have to, actually I don't have to, but I'm going to put my cover back on just because I have it, so I'm going to go do that now. Okay, now we simply need to put the control panel back in place. So we have to put this down, pick up our cable here, and put this thing back in. There we go. Press that in place, and then simply slide it back down to where it belongs. Just like so. So that's not too hard, right? Okay, so the only thing we need to do at this point is connect our top. Now right now, if you don't have any plastic overlay, you can simply take this put it right on top, and that's it. It's all set to go. However, I do have an overlay, so first I'm going to put that on, like so. Then, if you look at our bag of tricks, we do have a hex wrench. So I'm going to take that out, so I'm going to need that to secure the top, if I can get it out. There we go. And again, we don't need all these other screws. They're there if you need it. But we do need this little spacer. So take a look at that here. It's just a little piece of stainless steel or aluminum. And we're just going to place that on top, just like so. And that's going to give you a little bit more of a gap. So you could put this on. Now again, if I was to put this on right now, slide this thing down, there we go. It actually is fine. It does not go anywhere near the acrylic, but some people may have different sized acrylics where it does interfere. So I'm going to put it on just to show you here. There's our hex nut right there. Push that down, and now we definitely have enough spacing for it. So next thing we're going to do is simply take our little hex nut wrench here and just turn it and turn it and turn it till it secures itself to the spinner. Got it to bite. Just go a little bit further, just to make sure it's nice and tight. You have to make it too tight, and that's it. We now have a spinner. So let's turn the machine on and try it out. Again, you can save this. You may need it in the future. And let's just see how that works. Very nice. So let's try a game of Tempest. Okay, so you can see it does work just the same. It's nice and smooth. You can spin it. Works very well. Right on Tempest. Let's try it out. Put a coin in. And we'll start right up. Nice and smooth, no clicks, and you can see how well it works. So that's it, just a few minutes of your time, and you get yourself a real good arcade quality spinner for your Arcade1UP. Now these will be available on Amazon very shortly for about $49.99. If you do have the 12-in-1 unit, again you can use this in the 12-in-1. You have to disconnect your trackball to a small interface boards available. About $7 to $10 in a couple of weeks that'll be available. But that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, pick one of these up. Please leave a comment down below on what you think. And also, please do join us on the official global Arcade1UP fan page on Facebook. And remember, everyone, thank you for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, tell your friends, and remember, most of all, game on.
Glen at the Tiny Arcade fan page. Remember, don't admire people too much. They'll disappoint you.
Sit, Blue Blue, sit. Good dog.
Man, you better have me on that pre-order.